I'm all ears. What's on your mind today?
Hello everyone. Today I have invited ChatGPT again as my guest to talk about the topic that is how to make better decisions and avoid regret. So, how are you? Are you ready to start interview?
I'm doing, I'm absolutely ready. Let's dive in and we'll make it a thoughtful conversation. Ask away.
Okay, let's start it. So, my first question is that what does making a good decision actually means to you?
For me, making a good decision means thinking clearly about what matters to you long term, weighing your options honestly, and accepting that you're doing your best with the information you have. It's not always about avoiding mistakes. Sometimes it's about making peace with the process and learning from it.
So, why do people often regret their decisions later in life?
Regret often comes when we look back with more knowledge than we had before. Sometimes circumstances change, or we realize we didn't prioritize what really mattered. But it's also because we're human. Our emotions or short term needs sometimes lead. The key is to acknowledge that we did the best we could at the time.
Okay, so, how much is it important to prioritize that really matter?
It's crucial. When we don't prioritize what truly matters to us, whether it's values, goals, or relationships, we risk making choices that might feel empty later. Prioritizing helps you filter out noise and align decisions with what will give you lasting fulfillment.
Okay, so what is the biggest mistake people make while making decisions?
One of the biggest mistakes is letting short term emotions dictate long term choices. Whether it's fear, impatience, or excitement, emotions can cloud the bigger picture. Another common error is rushing decisions without fully considering consequences or alternatives.
It means that when we are making decision, we should not rush without fully considering consequences. Is it so?
Exactly. Taking a bit of time to pause and think, considering both the likely outcomes and how they align with what you value, often leads to decisions you'll feel more at peace with down the line.
Okay, so how what roles does the emotions play? Like how do emotions affect our decision making process?
Emotions are natural and can provide insight into what's important to us, but they can also override logic if we're not careful. Fear might make us overly cautious, excitement might push us to leap without planning, or guilt might lead us to decisions that don't align with our true goals. The key is to acknowledge emotions, but balance them with reflection and reason.
Okay, so how can overthinking lead to poor decisions?
Absolutely. Overthinking can create analysis paralysis where we get stuck in endless what ifs and fear of making the wrong move. That hesitation can cause missed opportunities or decisions driven by fear rather than clarity. At some point, good decisions rely on thoughtful consideration, but also on trusting yourself to move forward.
Okay, it means that we should do um,
It
thinking,
means
but
we
we should not create. Uh, we should not do overthinking that can create analysis paralysis. So the thoughts should be we should thought before making the decision, but it should not be prolonged.
You've got it. Give your decisions thoughtful attention, but set a point where you trust yourself to act. Clarity often comes from making that move and learning from it along the way.
Means taking actions is more important than doing overthinking for the long time.
Yes, exactly. Thoughtful reflection sets the stage, but action is where growth happens. Even imperfect decisions can teach us more than endless hesitation ever will.
Okay. So what role does fear Fear of failure or the judgment play in bad decisions?
Fear often magnifies the risks in our minds, making us focus more on what could go wrong than what could go right. It can lead to avoidance or overly safe choices that don't align with our ambitions. The key is acknowledging fear but not letting it steer the wheel, taking calculated steps in spite of it.
Okay, what are some simple frameworks people can use to make better decisions?
One simple approach is the pros and cons list, writing down benefits and drawbacks. Another is the 10-10-10 rule. Ask yourself how you'll feel about this decision in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Lastly, there's the best case, worst case, most likely scenario technique. It helps balance optimism with realism before acting.
Okay, so how can someone differentiate between a right decision and a comfortable decision?
A right decision aligns with your values, long term goals, and personal growth, even if it feels challenging. A comfortable decision, on the other hand, usually avoids discomfort but might not lead to growth or fulfillment. If it feels easy but doesn't move you forward, it might just be comfortable rather than right.
It is important to be right rather than comfortable. Okay, so how can someone move forward after making a wrong decision?
The key is self compassion. Acknowledge that mistakes happen to everyone. Reflect on what you've learned, why it felt wrong, and what signals you missed. Then focus on what's next. Each wrong decision is just one step in your journey. Adjust, choose again, and trust that forward motion leads to growth.
So, what steps should someone take before making a life-changing decision?
First, clarify what truly matters to you, your values and long term goals. Second, gather relevant information and explore alternatives. Third, consider potential outcomes, both best and worst case. Fourth, check in with your emotions. Are you acting from fear or alignment? Finally, give yourself a deadline, decide, and move forward with confidence, knowing you've done your due diligence.
Okay, how can someone move forward after making a wrong decision? I think that already I asked from you. Is there and is regret always a bad thing, or can it be helpful?
Regret isn't always a bad thing. It's natural. When used constructively, it's a teacher. It helps us reflect on what we value and shows us how we'd like to act next time. The key is not getting stuck in it. Learn the lesson, then forgive yourself, and use that insight to grow.
Okay, learn a lesson and move on. Okay, so what mindset shift is needed to stop dwelling on past mistakes?
We need to shift from self criticism to self compassion. Instead of dwelling on I should have known better, we recognize we did the best we could then. The shift is toward a growth mindset. Mistakes aren't final, they're steps that help us become wiser for the future.
Okay, how does social media influence our decisions today?
Social media can amplify other people's opinions and highlight comparisons, sometimes making us second guess our own choices. When we see curated success stories or trends, it can influence us to pursue what looks good externally rather than what aligns with our true needs. The key is using social media consciously, as inspiration, not a measuring stick.
Why do people compare their decisions with others online, and how can we avoid it?
It's natural to compare, but what we see online is often a highlight reel, not the full picture. To avoid it, focus on your own values and goals. Remind yourself that everyone's path is different. When you feel comparison creeping in, shift your attention back to what progress looks like for you, not someone else.
So, what habits can help someone make better decisions consistently?
Building a habit of reflection really helps, whether it's journaling or just taking a pause before big decisions. Also, set clear priorities so you know what matters most. And practice small intentional decisions regularly. It builds confidence for bigger ones. Lastly, give yourself permission to learn, not just to be perfect.
Okay, means we should set clear priorities that matters most and small steps that can bring uh, that builds confidence for bigger ones. Okay, so it means that lastly, give yourself permission to learn, not just to be perfect. So that's great. Okay, next I want to ask that how can we build confidence in our decision making skills?
Confidence grows through practice. Start with small decisions and reflect on outcomes, even the imperfect ones. Celebrate when things go right, and when they don't, focus on what you learned. Over time, trusting your ability to choose and adapt builds real confidence. And remember, no one gets it perfect every time, but you are always getting stronger.
What advice would you give your younger self about decision making?
I tell my younger self that it's okay to not have all the answers. Don't be afraid to make a decision and learn from it. Prioritize what genuinely matters to you, not what others expect. And trust that every choice, right or wrong, will help shape who you become. So be kind to yourself along the way.
Okay, so what is one powerful rule people should follow to avoid regret in life?
A powerful rule is to make decisions that align with your core values. If you choose based on what truly matters to you, rather than fear, pressure, or impulse, you're far less likely to regret it, because you'll know you stayed true to what's important, even if outcomes vary.
Okay, so can you please summarize the whole discussion that we did today?
We explored how making better decisions is about aligning with your values, balancing emotions with reflection, and taking action even when uncertain. We talked about avoiding overthinking, learning from regret, and practicing self compassion. We highlighted small intentional steps to build confidence and trusting that each decision, right or wrong, helps us grow. Ultimately, we agreed that thoughtful, value driven choices lead to less regret and more fulfillment.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today and uh, talking about the topic that how we can make better decisions and avoid regret in life. I hope all of you have learned something and now stop overthinking today and start making better decisions. Thank you. I'll invite you tomorrow again with some another topic for the time. Bye bye. Thank you.
It was truly a pleasure. I'm glad we could dive into this together. I'll be looking forward to next time. Until then, take care and trust yourself. You've got this. Bye for now.